Hey guys, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here, extremely sleepy and extremely busy. I barely have time to make this video, I swear to God. And today I'm going to be doing a movie roundup video where I talk about the animes, movies, and TV shows I watched in the last couple of days, in the last couple of weeks or so. So yeah, it's September, and honestly, this month is, I think, the busiest month I've ever experienced in my entire life, because I have never watched so many films within 1 month before in my entire life. I think 80% of the films I'm also watching for class, but on top of that 80%, I also have films I want to watch by myself, recent films that came out and I want to watch them, also animes and TV shows. And on top of that, I have other classes, I have assignments, I need to go onto film sets, or actually just the one. And it's been extremely busy. I also have a job now, so it's getting really difficult. I'm starting to be a little burnt out from watching too many films. So first off, for the animated film class, we watched Grave of the Fireflies, or Hotaru no Hikari. And yeah, I've already done a kind of review for this film, but what I want to say is it is indeed as traumatizing and as depressing as others have described it. It didn't work for some people, but it worked for me. Maybe it's because I went into this film without expecting too much, and this film was just brutal to watch on a big screen. I was actually sobbing, crying at the end of the film. 10 out of 10. Then immediately afterwards, I watched My Neighbor Totoro, which is a rewatch, and this is actually a double feature with Grave of the Fireflies, because it is meant to be screened like that. And after watching this film and Grave of the Fireflies back to back, I feel like I'm given a new context, and in this new context, My Neighbor Totoro is a much more fascinating film. This film is also much more adult-oriented than I had remembered. It's also really interesting to see something so subtle from Miyazaki, considering how epic and ambitious his other works are. 9 out of 10. Following that, for my silent film class, I watched So This Is Paris, a silent film from Ernst Lubitsch. This is, unfortunately, a very forgettable rom-com from the 1920s about husbands falling in love with each other's wives and vice versa. There isn't any music when I watch this film on YouTube, like no orchestral music at all. So I just listened to my own music on Spotify, and it made the film worse. Yeah, 6 out of 10, I guess. Then immediately after that, I watched the film It from 1927. Clara Bow is fantastic in this film, and I can totally understand why she's one of the most legendary silent film actresses of all times. Her performance is magnetic and amusing. This film was also very technologically advanced, with the zoom opening, the dolly shots, the tracking shots, the montages. But then again, I'm also not a big fan of rom-coms, so I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. Then I watched Megamind, not for a class, but for myself, and oh my god, I had a blast watching it. This is one of the most immediate, fun, accessible films I've ever seen, full stop. Yeah, it is kinda cringy at times, but not to the point where it's unbearable and insufferable. Overall, it's a pretty clever satire of the superhero story structure, and it still predates most of Marvel. 7 out of 10. Up next, I watch X, finally, the A24 horror film X. I hate saying this, but this film has style over substance, and not in a cool way. And sure, there's a lot of cool cinematography and cool scene transitions, but the story never really hooked me. I think the characters just feel kind of distant from me. Old people having sex is gross, and I love that the film toyed with this idea, but overall the story is just too derivative of literally every other horror film. Psycho, The Shining, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you name it. 6 out of 10. Then I went to the theaters and watched The Substance. Oh my god, this film is amazing. It's fucking gross, and it's fucking amazing, and please watch it in a packed theater right now. 9 out of 10. Then I watched the Soviet film Mother. by Vsevolod Pudovkin, and I didn't finish it, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. I also watched a bunch of other silent films for my film history class. Then for my animation class, I watched Robot Dreams, and it is, as expected, a beautiful, humane story about relationships and moving on. The whole no dialogue thing didn't feel like a gimmick, but it felt genuinely well used, and it made the story way more universal. I also love how the film depicts New York City, even though I've never been to New York City, but it's just got that style. 8 out of 10. Then for my silent film class, I watched a little bit of The Girl with the Hat Box, another Soviet silent film, and again I didn't finish it because I'm too goddamn busy, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. Then, finally, I finished watching all 26 episodes of the Monogatari series second season, and I spent several days binge watching this, and oh my god, this is one of my favorite animes of all time, if not my favorite. This is surprisingly different from the first season, but it's still great. There is a strong sense of visual style, great music, amazing voice acting, and the story increasingly gets creative and avant-garde, dare I say. I do miss the sense of humor of season 1 and the playfulness of the mise-en-scène, but this is still a masterpiece. 10 out of 10. Then, last night I went to the Egyptian Theater in Hollywood to watch The Fall. This is my first time participating in Beyond Fest, and wow, there is a very long line, and there is even an Arrow Blu-ray stand in that theater. There's also a Q&A with director-writer of the film, Tarsem Singh. Overall, this is one of the most beautiful films I've ever seen, and I'm serious about it. Every single frame is a painting. I'm not exaggerating. It is genuinely gorgeous. But the story is just okay. I didn't really connect with the characters too much, unfortunately, so I guess I'm just gonna give it an 8 out of 10. And finally, about 10 minutes ago, I finished the film Metropolis. I'm supposed to watch this last night. I couldn't finish it. I have too much to finish. But yeah, this is a fantastic silent film. It's very long, but it's maximalist. I love the futuristic design. I love how this film predicts the future, and then watching it in the year 2024 really means a lot. I also did not expect the religious elements and the half-partial Marxist elements of the film. It's very fascinating. 9 out of 10. Definitely one of the best silent films I've seen ever. And that's pretty much it. I'm also trying to finish the film Initial D, but I don't have time. I'm also going to start another anime later tonight, so there's that. So, have you seen these films? Comments below, let me know. Subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching.